Hi, I'm Leo. This is Forreal Fasho, and today we're watching Comments Uncut, Hiding Behind the Smile. Remember, Forreal Fasho co-directs and produces YouTube videos for other YouTubers and YouTube channels in the Atlanta area. Today we have a more serious topic. This is what college students think of mental health today. The responses shared in this video are real-world experiences, and we walk past these people every day. You never know what someone is going through, and mental health is something that affects all of us. So let's raise awareness together. Enjoy.
Can you describe for me one word that describes your mental health?
Stable.
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 Stable. Stable.
Complicated, I guess.
Sporadic. Everything.
Getting in control.
Changing.
Important.
Like a secret kind of people.
Average.
Consistent.
Good most time.
The work in progress.
Healthy.
Healthy, yeah, good.
Balanced.
Struggling.
Resilient.
Why do you think people hesitate to talk about mental health issues, especially in like a college setting?
I think because it makes them vulnerable.
I think there's a stigma associated with mental health.
Mental health can sometimes be an embarrassing discussion to talk about.
So a lot of times people don't really take mental health that serious, especially in different communities. And that's really true for my community, being a Black person. Just in general, it's really not taken that seriously, but it is a very serious topic.
There's definitely stigmas, especially in like Black communities, about mental health. So people don't really talk about it because they're ashamed.
It's scary to admit you're not okay 24/7.
I think a lot of people think it's kind of like a flaw.
I think people hesitate to talk about mental health because they're afraid they won't be believed or that they're going to be judged because of it.
A lot of people just don't care.
There's this stigma on mental health, and as a nursing student, I've seen the effects of it.
I think people hesitate because there's stigmas in place. I'm a nursing school student, and every time I talk to my previous psych patients, the reasons why they got to that point where they're hospitalized is because their family or their friends did not understand what was going on with them.
They don't understand it, I guess. You know, you can't talk about something you don't understand.
I feel like people are scared. Sometimes people don't know if it's the right thing to say. Sometimes people hesitate on what other people are gonna think, and they ultimately just, hop behind their smile.
Probably because it's a lot to deal with, and the people around them, it's a burden on them sometimes. So I feel like a lot of people don't really want to talk about it because of that.
I think people hesitate to talk about mental health issues because I feel like not everybody takes it as seriously as it should be taken, and sometimes people probably feel insecure about talking about their mental health because they probably think nobody would care about what they have to say.
I feel like they don't really talk about it because it's like some people see it as serious, but some people don't see it as serious. So it's like they get scared to talk about it because people may be like, "Oh, you're just being extra, you're just being dramatic."
I feel like they hesitate to talk about it because some people may look down upon them with their responses, and that's why they may be afraid to talk about it.
I think people hesitate to talk about mental health because it's not something that people generally talk about, and if you do, you feel vulnerable, and people don't like to feel vulnerable.
A lot of it is just like the stigma of mental health. My parents don't really get what mental health issues are. And it's just, I don't know, growing up, you hear people talk about other kids who have mental health issues, and they're just talked about real dirty.
People don't want to be viewed as weak. Too, I think with mental health, some people truly don't know they have a problem.
In what ways do you wish you were supported in college with mental health?
I think would be helpful to know what resources are available.
Just like physical support, if anything, like just knowing that somebody's at least physically there.
I wish I could get to my therapist more often.
I wish there were more programs talking about mental health and the importance of just kind of taking time out for self-care.
I wish there were easier platforms to kind of communicate with people that also have the same struggles that you're going through.
Emotionally, like, I have a hard time sometimes, like, trying to speak. Like, I'm very socially awkward at times, and like it will help me if people sometimes just tell me it's okay, like it's okay to mess up.
I guess I wish I had a bigger friend group.
Sometimes you just want a friend to talk to about some of the deep stuff that's not just school related, but like stuff that's going on in your personal life.
But I really wish I could open up more because I'm so reserved. Because I think, okay, I could conquer anything. That's just how I am. That's how I was really raised. Like, you good, like, you fine. Everything's gonna be okay.
Just people listening. I think that's the whole concept. Just when I speak, people don't take me seriously half the time. I'm not a person people take seriously because I'm goofy, which is cool, but you know, sometimes you just want to be heard.
The only thing I wish I had is more with myself. Like I wish I could it was easier to talk to the people that I'm close to about it. Yes. So
basically just not really uplifting me, but just telling me, oh, you're fine the way you are, you're a great person, you do this and that, so I don't see why you want to change yourself. Just stuff like that.
I don't know, just for people to talk to you about them, like always have somebody to talk to, you know, never being alone sometimes. That doesn't really bother me too much, but just always being able to know that there's someone out there that's kind of going through the same thing as me.
I wish they gave us more advice of what we would see as far as our schedule and, you know, how fast life goes.
If I had more friends that were more open to listening instead of just talking all the time.
What is something you're hiding behind your smile?
I'm stressed. School is just way too much sometimes. So.
Frustration, and it's just the small stuff in life that gets me angry. Like the big stuff doesn't really make me upset, you know.
I recently developed anxiety, and that's been my biggest challenge this semester.
The fact that I'm not always okay. I suffer with depression, anxiety, and a minor form of bipolar manic depressive disorder. And not being able to talk about that with the people I care about makes it really difficult for me to handle the things that happen in my day-to-day life.
I deal with a lot of anxiety sometimes, and usually it's easier to just kind of hold that in and keep smiling than discuss it or try to work through it out loud.
When I came here last year, I struggled in trying to understand the environment, how to the kids services I need.
Very high anxiety levels.
I'm crazy. I'm a psycho. That's probably it. People are always oh, we can never tell what's going on with you because you're always just smiling. You're mad and you're smiling, and you're happy and you're smiling, or you're sad and you're smiling. And I'm like, you'll never know.
Stress, stuff like that.
Stress that comes with school.
What I'm hiding behind is a lot of insecurities. That's honestly what I'm hiding behind my smile.
a lot of thoughts, maybe. I think a lot, so I guess, yeah, thoughts.
Insecurities, maybe one or two. I always got made fun of for being this skinny, tall person. So that's always been an insecurity for me. Being African was always a bad thing in elementary and middle school for me. So that was that used to be an insecurity for me, but it's not anymore. I'm learning to love that more.
Behind my smile, I'm probably just hiding just a couple of insecurities that I kind of just developed throughout my childhood.
A lot of days it's not necessarily a good day. It's kind of a series of bad days with sometimes good days sprinkled in between.
A long time ago, I got bullied really bad, and I was already having a rough time in life, but the bullying sent me to a really dark place in my life, and so I started going to therapy then, but I didn't really get why I was in therapy because I was only 12 or 13, and they put me on a lot of heavy medication, and I didn't like the way it was, and so I stopped taking all of my meds when I was a freshman in high school, and since then I have been self-managing my depression and anxiety.
How do you keep smiling through
So I like to color. I do a lot of coloring books, and I use aromatherapy, essential oils every night before bed, and I like to drink a lot of tea.
I mean, you just have to, you know, you have to live. Like, you can't go through your day with, you know, a sad face or an angry face. I mean, because then you will become unapproachable to other people. So, you know, you have to smile through it all. Sometimes you have to remember the outcome of what you're afraid to do, and sometimes you just have to place yourself in like situations that cause like high anxiety so you can get over it and just smile about it.
Through the years, I've kind of developed techniques that work for me. So I'll do breathing techniques, or I'll just kind of I have a book where I write down things that make me happy or things that make me calm, and I'll go through and read it when I'm having a really bad day, and it really helps.
I continue to stay strong by surrounding myself with people that I know will be there for me, including my roommates.
You know, I have a good friend group, especially now. And they, you know, they're pretty positive people, so they, you know, they get me through it.
I think like going to counseling, definitely talking to somebody. If you talk to somebody and open up about your feelings, you'll feel so much better.
Most of the time, it's just a minute at a time. I have to take it day by day, and it's really difficult, and sometimes I just don't get out of bed, and I lay there, and I take nap after nap because I can't make myself get up and do the things that I need to do.
Sometimes you have to like understand stillness and incorporate that into your lifestyle.
Really just remember my role models. There's just people out there that have some of the same insecurities that I do, or they've been through some of the same things that are in a place where I want to be eventually. So just kind of remembering that, like my overall goal.
So I think for me, you know, I can finally see why some people feel as though once they have a child, they have a sense of purpose. And I always felt as though I had a sense of purpose, but, you know, since I've had her, even more so now.
Sure.
I don't.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, this is it.
This is it.
That's my smile right here.
I mean, I can show you a little bit, you know, got a little gap, it's okay, you know.
Wait, I just ate cookies. It's gonna be on my teeth. I'll just smile like this.
My smile, can I share it?
Yeah, can you smile for us?
I have one kind of a smile I like to say.